It's a repetitive lifestyle, but that's what makes it great. You have so much mystery around at the same time. You know, every morning you go to work, you could find the next Frankel. That's what drives everyone in this game.
Will, feel free to clap that whenever.
No, in Norway, it's certainly, like you said, it's not a mainstream. It's not a mainstream career path at all. It was unheard of. You know, leave school when I did was unheard of in Norway, and just to sort of risk everything for quite a lot of uncertainty. I wasn't guaranteed to make it as a jockey at all. Didn't really know whether I was good enough, but it was, you know, it was a leap that I had to make to find out. And I was fortunate that both my parents were very supportive. I look back at it now and think, you know, it was a big step to take and a big commitment and a big risk. But at the time, I just remember I just felt it was where my life was going and where I wanted my life to go. Morning, guys. Right, let's go. This is a sort of typical Wednesday morning. Obviously started a little bit later now this time of year. You wake up around between 5 and 6 o'clock. You go and ride out in the mornings, do 1 or 2 lots depending on where you're riding and what times you are riding. Morning, Marie.
Morning.
Morning, Norman.
Hey, Will.
This is the blue point came in from the breeze up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So what I might do is just let you have a little look at them and then
Yeah.
just come through them.
Little grass there, mate.
Just got a nice one. Make sure this fella's with you by the 3.5 to the 4 there. And then just let him work through that 5, mate. Far side Charlotte from the Dubai. Wild Angel. No, Wild, she's Wild Dubai, she's Wild Angel. Yeah, Dubai Wild Angel. I had a run there.
Charlie asked me to come in and ride out here, sort of, it must be 10, 12 years ago now. And, you know, Charlie is he's a great man, he's a great trainer. And I feel that we work well together as a team. Charlie will debrief the riders and see how the horses have walked back from the gallops and check their blows and everything else. You know, I remember the day as it was yesterday when I first got appointed as #1 jockey for Godolphin, and he's been hugely supportive ever since, and it's great that that I can reward him with success, which is obviously my job, and the success that we've had over the years has been incredible.
I mean, the amount of preparation that goes into every day, let alone, you know, big race meetings, you know, it really does take a lot of commitment. I mean, Will is a stickler for his diet particularly, and his fitness.
Some days I'll do more than others. Like, for example, if I'm not racing, you know, I can work a little bit more on like strength and conditioning and work on various weaknesses, which is, you know, there's always something to work on. But usually, like today, where we've already had quite a busy morning, you know, I would just go for a run, probably do a few core exercises and just get the body moving. You know, jockeys are definitely healthier. This is a fairly normal morning for any jockey, really. You know, they would ride out in the mornings for their trainers or their owners, and then they would go to a gym. And I'm lucky enough that I've got my own gym at home like this, and I spend a lot of time and effort to get it to how I wanted it with all the stuff in it. So no, it's something I'm very glad I did. So now I'll just do like a 5K run. Sort of build up to a 12.5 to 14 pace. It's 5K. Good sweat. Just a nice way to keep ticking over. This like in summertime last year. It's It's really good, but just take it easy. It's pretty cold. Just getting the breathing right. Now it's okay. You do feel good afterwards. It's great for recovery, and especially if you have to sweat or something to lose weight, it does refresh you a little bit. So. Who's that? Gonna wave to the camera? This is Oscar. Oh. He's not normally shy. Family's family's key, and I think you have to have a solid, stable home life. That just gives you that sort of base, you know, that when you do come home, it's a happy, calm place, and I feel I've got that, and that's a huge help. And because, you know, when you do travel as much as I have this season, you need that.
Even though Will is an amazing dad, you know, he can't be in two places at once, so you just have to. You know, I'm so used to it now. Obviously, it's harder with children, but luckily the kids kind of get it and cope relatively well when he's not around.
You need it? Right, see you later. See ya. When you do travel backwards and forwards to America, it sometimes sounds worse than what it is, because it's not that far in essence. So the only thing that it changed slightly this year for me was obviously I took more days off from riding in England, because I felt that I needed to just use that as to re-energize myself and give myself a rest, to be spot on for the bigger races, and I think that's reaped the benefits. But then on the flip side of that, it sort of took me out of the championship battle. But I didn't feel like I could do both well. I probably would have ended up doing both, not to the level that I would have wished. So I made a choice, and I think it was the right choice.
As soon as you start on the journey of having a family, your whole world changes, and your whole the way you view your life and your lifestyle changes. So family is incredibly important to us both, and that is what our world revolves around now, really.
I'd like to think that when I am at home, I'm present. It's very important to be present in the moment, and try and switch off from my job, which is always easier said than done. And I'm not an expert on it myself. I'm not very good at it. So something that I'm working on. But to have, when you have the time off, to be present with your family, and to just to try and show them the right way, as I was when I was a young boy.
You say bye-bye. Bye. See you. Bye-bye. See ya.
Thomas getting his diagnosis with autism when he was around about 2 years old.
Say hello to Rocky, Thomas.
Say hello, Rocky.
Give him a bit of a pat.
Give him a pat. Give him a pat.
Give
Give him a pat then. Give Rocky a pat.
Relate back to when we first saw a physiotherapist, when we kind of knew there was something not quite right with him. And he always said this child would always struggle with balance. Movement to Thomas is so key. Even when we go out hacking down the roads, he loves watching the cars whizzing by. He'll be watching the wheels. Or, if there's another pony, he'll be watching the pony's feet kind of going along.
Obviously, I was typical man, I suppose. It will be all right. And you see the different things and the sort of the gap from his age group, becoming a little bit bigger and and things becoming a little bit more difficult for him. Pony and horse therapy is a real thing, and you hear about it, you read about it, and you know, with Thomas, we see it every day nearly, you know. So it's you know, we're very privileged to have our own ponies, and he has his couple of ponies that he has a deep bond with, and that's something he really enjoys doing. So it's amazing to see. Stop. Get your pony.
Get pony, hold the pony.
Hold the pony, Thomas. Thomas, hold the pony. Okay, hold the pony. No, hold it. You're in charge. That's all right. Right, put your helmet on. Right, all set. Right, come on, and the pony. Yeah, okay. Once we got it into the open, and we didn't sort of, Jane was very good at getting it into the open and talking about it, where I wasn't as good as doing that. But then everything became a little bit easier, just you know, the accept it. And we didn't know, I certainly didn't really know much about autism at all.
You know, at the moment he's going out on a tandem bike, well, not a tandem, but a bike attached to my father's bike, and he can't pedal yet himself, but his balance is incredible. And I think part of that is because he's been riding his pony and kind of bouncing around on him, that he's kind of actually getting a bit of a decent core now, which is something that, you know, like a professional did say to us, he would potentially struggle with.
What is it? Yeah, come back down towards you. Okay, right. Well done. Right. Come on, buddy.
So Thomas and I have completed a sponsored cycle ride in the aid of the National Autistic Society. We've cycled 120 miles in October. The target was 100 miles. Thomas has thoroughly enjoyed it. Loves the speed going downhill, screams and shouts, and then his language is probably not quite so polite when we're going uphill. I don't think I pedal fast enough.
Through Thomas and autism, you know, I suppose my life has somewhat changed a little bit in our sort of priorities, if you like. You know, not in regards to work, but you know, obviously now with ambassadorial roles and things. So I think, and that's only for the better. Really, and that's something that is really rewarding, like I spoke about earlier, and I'm hoping that will also leave its mark. Hopefully we can work up towards that point. Who was that, Thomas? Who was that? I think there's going to be a lot of good things happening. You know, you see more and more parents bringing children to the races and having a good day and feeling included, and that's what it's all about. You want the sport to be inclusive to everybody. So, you know, I'm certainly very happy to do my small bit.
Will, one day when Thomas and Oscar are all grown up and they want to be champions just like you, what would you say to them?
Don't be scared to take the chances. And if you have any doubts, just do it. That was my mindset, and I didn't have any doubts or any fears, probably because I was too naive. One thing you don't want to do is don't want to get older, sit back in your chair, and think, why didn't I do that?